shooting in Beverly Hills, and Kanye West and Tekashi 6ix9ine appear to be the targets. This happened while they were shooting a music video. There's a music video with the two of them and also Nicki Minaj. Now, Nicki had not arrived on set yet, but this was at a fancy mansion in Beverly Hills where they were shooting the video.
Close to around 10:30 last night. This is right on Sunset Boulevard.
And someone approached the home, it seems to be on foot, and opened fire. We're told by people connected to the production of the music video, at least 8 shots were heard, and several of them.
At least one went through the window, maybe more.
Yeah.
And this is a song, guys, Nicki Minaj was supposed to be on, and that photo of the bullet hole in the window is actually to the room that was supposed to be her green room. It's the biggest bedroom in the house. Tekashi was originally offered that as his own green room. He said, you know what, I like another room.
And that's
Nicki
what I
can
think,
use that.
That's what I think is interesting, Brad, because what we've been saying all morning is that clearly whoever, look, we can say this isn't about Kanye West.
It's
not about Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, it's about Tekashi.
It's about Tekashi.
He is, I mean, he is a target. He does things that troll people, and then a lot of people have enemies. I mean, a lot of people are enemies with him. So
let's look at the last 2 weeks for him. 2 weeks ago in New York City, shooting.
He first of all,
that was with his own people.
He cops an amazing plea bargain where he doesn't get jail time in this child sex case, and you know, hours later, goes to a restaurant. His people get into it, and somebody gets shot.
So there's a shooting there. Then last weekend, he comes to L.A. and goes to Long Beach and gets into this argument with Slim 400. Charges at him had to be held back.
That in itself could be a violation of probation, by the way.
Right. A lot of threats thrown between the two of them, and then.
But
not
nothing
even
escalated except for words.
Right.
Tekashi left the scene.
At that point, 5 days later,
sometimes words
he's shooting a music video.
can trigger something like this, Raquel.
Yeah.
No, of course. I mean, 1,000%. But I wouldn't put them as the people who done it.
Well, no, we have no idea who did it.
Why is Tekashi Why is he charging a guy?
Well, because he has a lot of beef with a lot of people.
Well, guess what?
He's
You're
beefing
also
with
on
the whole Chicago, for Christ's sake.
Good. When you're on probation, you don't get involved with alleged gangs, and you don't charge people. And when you do, stuff like this happens last night. I mean, as for
last night in Beverly Hills, luckily nobody was hit, nobody was hurt.
Kanye left immediately.
But it is interesting.
They haven't caught the guy.
I mean, they haven't caught anyone, but it is interesting that they clearly, whoever is the trigger man or trigger person, knew that they were going to be shooting this music video there. And
no, that's a big point. That's a big point.
They knew the schedule. They knew that he was going to be there.
They knew the schedule.
And to Brad's point, they fired at a room that was supposed to be Tekashi's dressing room. Now, it turns out the day before, as Brad said, he gave it to Nicki, but it's just interesting that that's the window that was hit.
I talked to somebody on the phone this morning who was at Louis Vuitton yesterday and during the day, and Tekashi walked in and they cleared the place out, threw him out, and he said it looked like a whole SWAT team was there. I don't know that he meant actual LAPD.
Because his bodyguards, he's going that deep.
Right.
I mean, the guy travels with, honestly, 6 people, bodyguards at a time, so clearly he knows what time it is.
I am shocked.
That's a sign of fear right there for traveling with so many bodyguards. That shows you that, obviously, that he knows that something's up with him, that everyberry's after him.
Whoever that person was in Louis Vuitton is lucky that they were asked to leave.
No, and he said
I wouldn't stand in the same.
Well, here's what I'm wondering. Why are Kanye West and Nicki Minaj working with him?
Well, they're making music with him.
I get it, but look what they're making music.
He has 11 Billboard hits or whatever that is, so therefore you would work with him, but I mean,
it's another hit that I'm worried about with them.
Well, yeah, you may get smoked, obviously, of course.
Right, and I wouldn't go near this guy now. I'm serious. I wouldn't go near this guy.
If he said he wanted to come over here, you know what I'm saying? You'd be like, it's tricky.
No. I'm telling you, Raquel, after last night, somebody's after him.
A lot of people. I told you the whole Chicago's on his head.
But when people are shooting at him, shooting into homes, I mean, this is crazy. That's
the life you live when you gangbang, Harvey. It's crazy, but that's what he chooses to be because he wants to be a gangbanger.
But here's the problem, Raquel.
Yeah.
He's on probation.
Right.
And he's going to prison if he doesn't change his ways.
Well, maybe somebody should tell Tekashi to quit trolling people and acting crazy every second. Therefore, it wouldn't be a shootout everywhere he goes. He needs to learn how to keep his mouth closed, and then it won't be such a target situation. But if you act like you're with the level, you may get blasted with people who are about the level.
Yeah, this is Randy from Detroit, Michigan. I'm gonna have to agree with you on that. Like he has been like getting into it with every single body. Like, and he gangbangs. He messing with the Bloods. Like when you mess with the Bloods, like they're gonna retaliate.
Yeah, and they did. Well, I mean, we don't know that they did, but when you start connecting the dots, it ain't that hard what's going on here.
To Raquel's point, he does have a lot of enemies.